By Oakley, official eyewear of the World Surf League. And by Hertz, official partner of the Male Pro Portugal, presented by Rip Curl.
Love being in Peniche, only place in the world. I eat a lot of sardines. The food's incredible, amazing people. They're so welcoming, and it still feels very new, you know, in the grand scheme of pro surfing. You know, the search came here over a decade ago, and it was so good. The event turned into a consistent event for the top 34 in the world, bringing back the women as well at Peniche back in 2019 after a brief hiatus. Oh, what a day for pro surfing. Joe Trappell with Strider Wasilewski. Kelly back in the water again to take on Griffin Colapinto. This is going to be insane.
It's going to be great. Couple of American bright, you know, for future for Colapinto, and we've got the, well, Captain America, Kelly Slater, the greatest of all time, kind of towing the line for him, and these guys are going to, you know, hopefully Griffin gets to rise up to the occasion here, and Kelly is not going to give him any room. He does not want to go down. He's here to win, and that's 100% why he's here. But you know what? Griffin is and has been looking better and better through the year.
He sure has. And when you look at skill set for Griffin Colapinto, being young and fired up, he's better in the air at this stage of the game. To Kelly, he's very consistent. Right on the buzzer, he got this crazy drain pipe to try to get a big start over Kelly.
Yeah, he was sitting up in the competitors area, you know, and he had his Oakleys on, he's got his custom shades, and he just kept looking over at me. Oh, look at this, oh, live action, sorry.
Hollow cylinder and getting spit out. Andino driving off the lip, looking for another big section. Float to finish for Andino, a 7 and a 4.33 already. Baker's good score, a 6.0. As that is the priority heat Kolohe versus the rookie named Jackson Baker. And coming from a couple of great surf towns, Newcastle versus San Clemente. There's the entry into the pit for Andino.
Yeah, really late drop, but you see they almost fall into it, and it leaves them in this great position to drive speed through the tube, come out with more, and then have this, you know, fun inside section to work with. So, you know, great look at what it takes to get a deep tube. Drop in late, hit that bottom, and then hit the gas pedal.
Great heat for John Florence. Louisa, he must be over the moon right now.
Are you over the moon right now, John?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, well, 9.13, and we had a great heat. It felt comfortable for us out of the water. How was it for you out there?
Yeah, it felt really good. I was happy to get the 9 when we were in the under priority heat. It's always like, feels good to kind of get a heat started like that. And so, yeah, and then going into the priority side, just kind of having a little more control. So for me, that was good.
The conditions changed a little bit since the last heat that you served. So how are you reading the ocean right now?
Yeah, the tide's a lot lower. There's a lot more barrels, and so just kind of looking for those.
A lot more barrels.
Yeah, it just seems like every wave is barreling, and so not so much turns anymore. But yeah, I like it.
When we watch you, it seems like the love for the game is always growing, and I wonder what drives you?
I'm still learning what drives me, but I think just being here and trying to perform my best and kind of be myself in the pressure of a heat is kind of what I'm trying to learn how to do, and I guess that's what's driving me to try to be better and better.
Amazing. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Louisa. John Florence is always so calm and humble by nature. He has his own goals these days. So cool when he qualified as a rookie alongside Medina, Miguel Pupo. Medina had the early success at 17, winning in France and San Francisco. John's first win came the following season in Brazil over Joel Parkinson, but he had up and down results. Sometimes he'd be the best surfer in the draw, but he'd lose with a 10 and a 1 in second round. Things have changed dramatically as we see a lengthy tube ride off the bottom and drilling it for a solid combo for Griffin Colapinto.
Colapinto finding some rhythm out there under priority. I like it. I think it's for him, it's got to feel good. Back to that quick story, he was wearing his, you know, comfort up there in his zone. There's Oakley shades on and looks over. He kept looking over. He's just like, I just can't believe this is the best I've ever seen it. I think this is like some of the best conditions you could compete in. And he just kept having this positivity just flying out of him, which, you know, it's gonna lead itself into more positivity. And here he is grabbing the rail, really nice and deep actually on that section, and then comes out clean with a big backhand schrack in the lip. So looking really good out there. Look at this replay right here. You can see this is the section that really gets him deep, and he finds himself, he doesn't slow himself down, but he's pushing on that rail, so that's good. We like to see the driving barrels, which are gonna score higher than the ones where you slow yourself way down.
Griffin hasn't made it to a final series yet here in Peniche, meaning quarters or better. And I think when he's saying it was as good as it gets this morning, I was reflecting on some of the heats where he went down. He didn't have classic super tubos, and so this was the moment he was waiting for, his rookie debut, you know, a few years back now, 2018, where he got a 25th, equal 9th in 2019. This is the moment he's waiting for, and to be able to battle with Kelly at Super Tubos when it's like this, what a special moment. 6'5", 367 for Colapinto, and Kelly just took a look at a wave, being pretty selective at this point.
Yep, trying to find the rhythm, trying to find a space. You know, we've heard all the athletes talk about this. They're sitting on the beach, they're looking at the water, they're seeing where they think they need to be. They go out there, they're in the wrong place. Changing tides, changing peaks, changing environment, tide, wind, swell. And so he's gonna, try and tune in to where it's gonna be next. It's almost a blind anticipation as you paddle over waves. You just kind of have to feel it and look around way out there on the horizon and kind of feel like, okay, I think that wave is gonna end up over here. I'm gonna paddle. And it's just such a game, and it's almost like a game of cups where you're moving the cups around, and the pea is under the cup, and you got to move around and keep finding that pea to actually, unveil it, and well, then you'll come up with that nice nugget barrel that these guys are looking for.
Kelly Slater started winning world titles in the early 90s, 1992, in his second full year on tour. Became the youngest world champion at 20 on the men's side, Chris Amore being the youngest on the women's side. And Derek Cole went in 93, 94. Kelly just started dominating the surfing world. And I think he started getting questions on what his plans were, because he did take a break in the late 90s. Won a title in 98. 99, 2000, and 2001, he would just do select wildcard events before recommitting to the tour. And like what we saw on stage at Pipeline, when he saw Axel Irons, he said, hey, your dad, Andy, was the reason why I started competing. He had something to drive for. He had a rival again. And Andy was dominating. He won 3 straight. All of a sudden, Kelly had something to work for, and it wasn't easy. There was a lot of tears shed and some crazy memories in one of the greatest rivalries that surfing's ever seen.
Yeah, not one of them, the greatest, I feel like. It's unbelievable what that brought to the surface for everybody, and everybody that was involved in bringing the island of Kauai to this prideful point, and watching all these surfers rise up with Andy Irons and Bruce Irons and just the whole crew that followed behind him. It was so fun, and there was all the elder guys that Andy looked up to. It's just really fun to think back at that whole time and era, and well, our hats are off and blessed to the family. Andy, we love you. Always will, and thank you for your contribution.
So many great stories in Kelly's incredible career, competing with Dino Andino, Kolohe's dad, back in the day. He's just crossed so many generations. And just a heads up for fans watching on YouTube, Facebook Live as well, this stream will stop at the end of the Griffin and Kelly heat. So that's in 29 minutes from now. A new live stream will start for the quarterfinals and beyond. For fans watching in Brazil, coverage from the quarterfinals on will continue exclusively on WorldSurfLeague.com and Sport TV. For everyone else, keep it right here, and we'll continue with the quarterfinals of the Male Pro Portugal, presented by Rip Curl. 9 minutes on the clock. Kolohe Andino, 7.33 and a 7.0. Always has had a special relationship with the beach breaks in Europe. His first successful excellent range scores came at these venues. He's made finals day a handful of times, and looks like he's in a great position to do the same thing today.
It just boils down to being in the right place at the right time out here, and being in that rhythm is ultra important. I mean, look at Kelly Slater, greatest of all time. We haven't even seen him on a wave, really.
Well, he's back on that quad, shaped by Dan Mann. That's been a famous name for Kelly in the last couple of years. As we see a wind-up, tail-high punt, incomplete for Griffin. Still trying to improve on a 3.67, falling into the pit, trying to make that section. Jackson Baker ends up going down.
Well, those are the moments where, you know, you're going to get everybody on the edge of their seat. That's what he had in his last heat when he came up with a 9-point ride and almost performing the same idea right there. Coming up a little short, so he'll go from a 9-point ride to a 1-point ride real quick.
So Jackson Baker trying to find a way to get past Andino. I felt like a lot of people expected Seth Moniz to beat Jackson earlier, just with Moniz coming off a huge result at Pipe, how amazing he is in the tube. I think Jackson had a lot of confidence and a lot of entertainment value as well with the way he was kicking out of those crazy barrels. You could tell he feels good, he's confident. I felt that great energy from him as well at Sunset Beach. He's a classic addition to the top 34.
Oh, I love it. You know, and that's something that we're lucky enough to have, characters in this, you know, profession that really show their true colors, and he's one of those. You know, outspoken, fun, performing, looking back at the tube, looking up at the competition area, and having a great time doing all of it. He said he came out of the barrel in that one wave on his 9-point ride that he had in his last heat, and he didn't know what to do. He was so excited. He just was looking around and looked up at the competitors area, and he's like, did that just happen? You know, and yeah, doing it in your heat, it just makes it even better.
Great rookie class we have this year. Sammy Pupo went down to Miguel, his big brother. We lost Callum Robson earlier to Connor Coffin. Imai Kalani DeVault went down as well. Unfortunately for Jake, he got injured in the heat with Felipe Toledo. We also lost Joao Chianca when Connor got past him yesterday. So this is a big result for Jackson Baker. Top of the charts for the rookies here at Super Tubos.
Only one left. Let's see if he can hold on here and get a couple of waves, put himself in a better position. He's gotten the big score already today. Can he do it again? He only needs an 8.33.
And surfing against the experienced athlete of Kolohe, as we will roll in with Colapinto deep on this one, but an aggressive drive to try to force a make through the inside corner. Incomplete number for Griff.
I feel like that tide is going to start pushing fast, which will get us back in the corner of kind of maneuvers as well. We saw that at the end of the day yesterday. I mean, if yesterday is any indication of what it's going to look like this afternoon, we are going to be blessed again. We can never count on anything 100% here with Mother Nature at hand, but it looks pretty good for a great day all the way to the end as the sun's going to set.
As we look at the tide, we already passed the low tide. That was about 11 o'clock this morning. So it's going to continue to rise. It's about 12:30 in the afternoon local time. Hopefully it'll start getting more consistent. Really interesting, because we always talk about favorites and hollow waves compared to if it does adjust to maneuvers. How will that affect the heat with Kelly and Griffin Colapinto?
If it went to maneuvers, I would really have to just rest my hat with Colapinto. You know, above the lip line, and what his firepower that we've seen out of him is just incredible. So that said, Kelly Slater, the power surfing that he can do, I think he might be able to, you know, get some solid surfing in, close to excellent range scores. But I think above the lip line, it would be our guy, Colapinto.
You can see all the winds that work in Peniche on that peninsula. What a great shot that was, so high in the sky. A lot of open space as well, a lot of dirt roads, a lot of old fish farm setups that you could see. It was really cool when Betty Lou was driving around and saw someone that was harvesting cauliflower. She just walked up, introduced herself, and she got to join in the farming. So cool. What a great town. Colapinto packs a closeout just for fun. 3:30 in the priority heat. Jackson still looking for an 8.33. But I suppose that topic, when it goes from spitting barrels all morning then there's an adjustment of having to adapt to maneuvers. There's some surfers that really clue into that in the heat of the moment and will adjust appropriately to get the heat win.
And we're going to see, I think it's over a 7.5 foot tide change within this day. About 5:30, we're going to see the high tide this afternoon, 5:24 to be exact. But, you know, that's a big difference. All of those people on the beach will be completely pushed back up almost to the border that we have that blockades the crowd from the scaffolding.
You can see all that wet, packed sand, that high tide line. All that will be filled back up with water. Everyone will be pushed back up to the dry sand.
That'll be the new takeoff point for the athletes this afternoon.
That's going to be fun to watch. We're anticipating a lot of big heats. Women's quarterfinals have some crazy ones, including a world champ heat with Tyler Wright and Carissa Moore. Steph Gilmore got down here a couple hours ago to eye out the conditions. Already with the jersey on. Looking happy. Nat Young just shaking off that loss to John. He's still going to enjoy the show from the Red Bull Athlete Zone.
Hard to leave when the waves are like this. You know, the area is not offering up a bunch of different waves right now across the peninsula. This north wind straight on shore, so there's nowhere really to run unless you go down south. There's some fun little waves down there.
Yeah, if you got some time and energy. There's that view of our playing field. And just the fact that Kelly has just a .93 and this man keeps swinging. We've got Colapinto exiting the tube on the back end, doing a great job hunting under Kelly's watch. Kelly's just dropped anchor for the first 19 minutes of this matchup.
I'll be honest, I don't like it.
I feel like he's barrel hunting, and Griffin's made the adjustment. He actually also found a tube underneath Kelly's watch.
Well, you know, Griffin is getting into rhythm, which is a scary thing for somebody like Kelly, because Kelly needs to be really aware of what's happening around him. Right there, you see Griffin having to duck under that little bit of foam ball, but he's super deep, and the foam kind of pushing on his rail as he was pushed up against that and up high, and then slides right out for the completion. So Griffin, happy camper right now.
Yellow jersey between Kanoa and Kelly at the moment. And remember, Kanoa has already moved forward from this round when he got past Federico Moraes. So if Kelly stays in second, that would make it clear for Kanoa to be in yellow heading into Bells Beach.
Wow. That's a massive call right there. Kelly, time to get busy, buddy. Let's get some waves. We got 20 left on the clock. I haven't seen really anything out of him. I mean, isn't this odd? Does this mean that there's something wrong? What's going on here?
Or he's just sitting and waiting for something special. It's been a while. He had a .93. He's just pacing himself. Meanwhile, Jackson Baker is not going to find anything at the end of that heat. And it looks like the last rookie standing is going to deal with the round of 16 loss. Kalohe Andino makes it to the quarterfinals once again at one of his favorite events on tour. 7.33 and a 7.0. Still have half the heat to go with Kelly Slater and Griffin Colapinto. We'll be right back for more after this.
Shine blessed with swell. It's been a super Sunday so far at the MEO Pro Portugal as we check out the remaining 20 minutes of the clash, which sees the GOAT, Kelly Slater, taking on Griffin Colapinto. And thus far, it's been the young Californian with the better of him. There's a man from the Golden State who also put in a fairly commanding performance in his last heat. Looking very good. Myself, Paul Evans, in the studio, joined by Peter the Mavs GOAT. Mel, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, sir. Better than Kelly is at the moment. He's been pretty quiet in this first 20 minutes, and he's been searching up and down, but the rhythm for this red heat, the red-white, which is when you do these overlapping heats, that's the red-white. But Griffin has been finding the couple gems that are out there. I mean, he's already rode in 6 waves, Kelly only 1. So at this point, Kelly has got to reset, as Richard Darkmark likes to say, during a heat. Press that reset button and make it happen. He can. We know he can. And the waves are out there.
We talk about how constantly things change here. It's such a contrast in fortunes to what, just a couple hours ago, if that, Kelly was out there getting all sorts of tubes up and down the beach. Getting exits at the last moment for big numbers. Really quiet in this one so far. He's on the wrong side of a combo right now. 13.57 the requirement for him to get past Griffin Colapinto. Essentially needs a couple of sevens, something like that. As we can see, Pete, as we like to keep a pretty close eye on conditions, but there's sort of cross-shore flow to that wind out there right now.
Yeah, it's still, when the waves get into the clean water, it has turned a bit more of the northerly direction, which is from the side, but still enough offshore there for some brilliant barrels to be had. It's just a matter of being in that clean water, like you mentioned, in between the rips, and having a nice set come, because we are seeing that decline in the swell throughout today. I think we've hit our peak kind of in the mid-morning to afternoon, and now we'll see the tide start to switch, though, and I think that'll be a positive note as well.
So these two having a little redirect here, and it's time for Slater to roll the sleeves up and get busy in this one. He's got nothing of note on the board so far. This man's got a couple of numbers, Colapinto, and he's got a nice looking right-hander here, smoothly in, smoothly out, the little hair flick. And that'll be another wave for him. Let's see if it manages to get in his top two. It needs to go north of 6.5 if it's going to do that. Kelly Slater now with the priority out the back, and with 16 to go, Pete gets to that point where he really does need to find himself a set.
Yeah, and the next, use of this priority for Kelly needs to be something that'll match Griffin Colapinto. If it comes in a bit less, that just makes his job really hard. If he gets himself a nice, beautiful, excellent ride, he's right in this heat in a big way, because door's not closed on Kelly Slater. I mean, it's 13.57. We've seen Kelly get 14 and 15 points, no worries. It's just now not getting too far behind.
Thinking of sort of Griffin Colapinto and the work he's been able to do on tour so far, when you think about surfers who sometimes they're real competitors, really think about the game a lot. Let's just revisit that topic shortly as we pick up live action here, and a little stall off the tail for him. I'm just wondering, you get your more natural surfers that just go out there and surf, and then you get the guys kind of really think about it and kind of build that intensity in themselves. It feels a little bit like Griffin Colapinto, just that guy just kind of goes out and surfs to some extent.
I think it's a little bit of an act. I think he's been competing for a very long time. He's got great coaches with him, Tom Whitaker here at this event, but Jake the Snake. I mean, and so there's a lot of education process into the competing side of things. And from what the word I hear is Griffin's a sponge. He literally, you tell him something once, he learns it pretty quickly and goes out and applies it. So I would say that a lot of that fun-loving stuff, of course, he loves having fun. But when the jersey's on, he's very serious and he's very intense.
Yeah, he's got a strong matchup so far in this one. Good numbers in. He'll throw away a 5 for that last effort. The interesting thing about that, of course, from his point of view, it doesn't count to a scoreline, but he managed to keep Kelly off that wave. Kelly could have got himself that wave. Maybe, for example, got slightly deeper and thrown a slightly bigger number. He would have kind of been back in this. But Griffin keeping him off. And you can see there, just that one throwaway wave from Kelly, and just looks pretty disinterested this so far. Pete, we're not really used to seeing that from Kelly.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's got to do with the waves kind of missing him. It feels like he hasn't really connected with a nice bigger set, and I think that's what he really truly wants at this point. He's been in this situation before where he's been down by 2 scores and needs to get into it, and the best way to do that is to wait for that one gem and just get an excellent score, and basically it goes right, the momentum goes right back into his court. And generally, he can turn it.
A couple of seconds can be achieved pretty quickly at this venue. Let's see if he goes about doing that. That's the size of the task he's looking at. Meanwhile, let's go down here from the winner of the last heat. Brother is with Louisa.
Yeah, the conditions are changing a lot, but still managed to get 2 really good waves. How is it out there?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's always nice winning a heat. It's tricky conditions for sure. It seemed like the whole ocean was kind of a rip tide compared to what it was like earlier. But yeah, I'm really happy to make it through.
I saw you talking to your team up there before you came down here. Is there any insights you can share with us for the next heat?
I'm probably going to be on really high tide, so it'll be a lot different than this. Yeah, I'm excited to surf against Kelly or Griffin. It should be pretty fun.
You're going to change your board? You're going to keep the same?
Probably go a little shorter.
Amazing. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much, Chloe. Back to you guys.
Chloe Andino coming up later on in the quarterfinals. Still got some great surfing ahead of him in this event to go really deep. Come back for finals day, which won't be today. Unable to wrap things up today, but we are going to go into the quarters for men and women. And we heard a little bit of motion, a little bit of noise and activity coming down the beach during that cross. And We'll see if we can get caught up with what's gone on out on the water. Looks like we're due a number for Kelly Slater. Long overdue from his point of view. The amount of time he's been in the water and the amount of points he hasn't been able to put on the board. Wait for that score to come in and see where that puts him. Could set up something very entertaining as we go in towards the final 12 minutes. Well, we're in the final 12 minutes of this heat. Here's a replay, Pete.
Kelly Slater from the deep end of the pool into the shallow end and through. And of course, he likes to add a little extra by stalling it out. Nice wraparound cutback. So where is this matched to Griffin Colapinto's 6.5 into a 7? We'll see what the judges think. Kelly's up again.
Here he is. Well, he's broken the seal and he's in the tube again. Nicely done, just slots in. And let's see if he can emerge from that. He can't, so unable to get a second score on the board as he'll go incomplete on that one. But prior to that, a wave will come in and it'll put him right back in this heat. It's more than a mid-3. It'll break the combination. So we see Courtney Conlog getting all psyched, getting ready for the quarterfinals for the women coming up. She's in the second of those. Numbers in for Kelly. It's a good one. Pete 6-7-3. He's right back at this.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, and now sitting outside of priority so he can roam the lineup a little bit more. There is some lines heading this way. They are out there by themselves at the moment because overlapping heats are going to end as we hit into the quarterfinals. Either way, they are in that priority heat, and they get the free reign of the lineup over the other heat. But at this point, it's just the two of them out there.
Quite a big spread from the panel. The significant number is the average. It is the 6-7-3. Now he needs a similar score to that. 6-8-5 is that requirement. We'll look at some energy coming through. Just a little announcement, update for the broadcast. For fans watching on YouTube and Facebook Live, this stream will stop at the end of this round. A new live stream will start for the quarterfinals and beyond. Fans watching in Brazil, coverage from the quarterfinals onwards will continue exclusively on worldsurfleague.com and Sport TV. For everyone else, keep it right here as we power through to the quarterfinals of the MEO Pro Portugal, presented by Rip Curl Paddle. And no takeoff on that particular wave as that explodes on this shallow sandbar. A little time will tick down and we're set up for a nice finish inside 10 minutes to go here, Pete. Kelly right back at this and well within striking distance.
So true, and let's hope the ocean provides us some canvas. You know, I think that if we can get a few more set waves here, we can get a very climactic finish. Griffin in a situation where he needs results to keep himself up and get himself into the cut line. Kelly, on the other hand, is fighting for a yellow jersey. You know, if he can get through and end up making a few more heats, he could see himself heading into bells in that yellow jersey. But right now, job at hand, he needs to get himself something above a 6.85 so he can get himself in first place.
Super Tubos has provided us throughout the day with really entertaining conditions. Always the drama in a venue like this. We're dealing with a powerful breach bait close to shore. A lot of barrels coming through with our overlapping heats. A frenzy of activities really throughout the morning. People getting tubed up and down this beach. Big numbers coming in for our panel. Just dialed it back a little bit now. We just got the one heat in the water. What a heat it is, though. And this one, you kind of feel the tension a little bit here, Pete. And we like to read into how significant things are going to be and, you know, how much does this loss mean. But thinking about Kelly Slater, and we want to see him staying interested, right? We want to see him participating, and we want to see him go as far as he can in events.
It's so true. It really is. But we are heading into events that I feel like he is very capable to win as well. This event has been hot and cold for him. He is self-admitted. You know, he came into this event in the first couple of years and he did really well. But then since then, it's been a little bit rougher for him. But you got Bells, past champion there, Margaret River. You know, so he's one of these past champions. So he's obviously got that winning feeling for both those two events too, and he loves Australia.
Absolutely, and then looking past the mid-season cut as well, the first event that looms after that, G-Land, the Quicksilver Pro. Here's live action, and Slater goes down pretty hard, made a late decision to go on that. Griff had the priority. Kelly inside him had to spin late, and he's straight back up on his board. And back out into the lineup on the prow once again. Still looking for that number. It's a 6.85, it's not a big one. But he was quiet, pretty much silent for the non-priority portion of this.
And if you notice, they're constantly paddling towards the north, which means that the current is moving pretty strong. We're getting that tide moving around. You get the wind blowing. It'll change the way the ocean feels, and that's kind of what seems to be happening. We've been there constant for about 3 or 4 hours. We see this late attempt by Kelly Slater and he had to wait. He had to see if Griffin was going to take it, and then all of a sudden realized he wasn't, so he kind of tried to get that last second drop in. Didn't work out for him. But yeah, there's the ocean seems to be, you know, moving around a little bit, and that happens. It ebbs and flows.
Busy Sunday afternoon in Portugal, one of the iconic venues of European surfing, the famous peninsula of Peniche. Once again, hosting the world's finest surfers, and all the intrigue and action and drama that goes along with that. There's been an amazing story down the years. Started back in 2009 with the Rip Curl Pro Search event. Here was a fixture on tour in 2010 through to 2019. Missed the season in 2020 due to the pandemic. An abbreviated season last year. And it's so cool to have the championship tour back in Super Tubos, back in Portugal. As we'll watch a relatively quiet second portion of this heat, not loads of wave ridden through the mid portion of it. Here goes Slater though, looking for something. Backhand from him, he commits to a little speed line, and he realized a bit of a wobbly wave. The wave coming at him had a lot more energy and impetus than the one he was riding, and for that reason he just flicks off. He'll deal with a couple of duck dives. It's going to eat a little bit more time off the clock, Pete.
Yeah, you see that duck dive, so important too, and you're right behind it to be able to almost swim underneath the wave so you can get back out and not get dragged towards the beach. That was a great view of that. These boards that these surfers are riding nowadays are so much smaller than used to, and Kelly is at the forefront of that part of surfing, of getting into smaller equipment.
Colapinto pumping hard here. Get some good travel time, won't find an exit. He was way deep on that. Unable to add to his total with that particular ride, and now that means priority will be with Kelly Slater. Just over 5 minutes to go in this heat. Kelly, let's remind you, looking for 6.85, has got priority, has got the run of the lineup. It's just over 5 minutes to get that number, assuming that Griff can't also improve himself. Setting us up for a tight and tense finish.
Oh yes, as Kelly likes to have it. I mean, we saw it at Pipeline last second heroics, getting the 9 to get through his heat against Barron, I think, right? And so he's used to these moments. I mean, considering he's gotten 3 decades of competition under his belt, he's had similar situations probably 20 times over. And I would say that a high percentage of the time he's able to execute.
Thinking of ways that our athletes find to challenge themselves, to inspire themselves, to draw the best performances out they possibly can. One way of doing that is putting Kelly Slater in a bit of a corner and challenging him and seeing what he's got, and I don't think he'll mind that one bit here. Let's see if he can draw on that inspiration. Let's see if he can take the opportunity. In the meantime, let's go down and sample the vibes on the beach. The Was is down on the sand.
All right, we're down here in the water. We got a great crowd down here on the beach. Everybody's getting their feet wet. They're ready for it. They want it. We're right here. As you turn around and take a look at the surf, you can see how close you are to the waves. Literally, you can feel the waves spitting off the back. You got a great view of the lineup, but you have to be down here in the water to get this view. The crowd is thick. It's all the way back deep, all the way up to the scaffolding. So to get the real view, you want to be right down here on the water's edge. Come on down. Check it out here. Insane right now. Colapinto out in the lead over Slater. Slater trying to come back. Can he take the young dog down? Can the old dog do it? I'd say yes, but he needs the waves. Back to you guys.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, Strider. Great energy down there on the beach. The Grom squad representing and really enjoying this clash out in the water. It's been a little quieter in the lineup than it has on the beach. Not tons of waves ridden in the last 10 or 15 minutes of this. We're down towards that final 3, and it's still Kelly with the priority. That requirement unchanged since he dropped that 6-7-3, and we've got a little motion here, Pete. We've got some lines coming in.
Waz is way better than coffee, isn't he? He just comes in, he's the hype man. We love it. Let's see what this last 3 minutes has to offer here. Let's see if the ocean can provide. Looks like Kelly maybe making a move, doesn't go there, but now there's a couple waves out the back. This should be an exciting finish. It usually is with Kelly Slater, and Griffin for that matter, because Griffin's a bit of a hype man himself.
How many times down the years have we talked about that special connection Kelly seems to have? He seems to be able to just have a read on the ocean that others don't seem to be privy to, and he's going to need that here. He's going to need to find himself an opportunity. A little bit more time will tick away. He's on the move here. He's on the hunt. Let's see if he can find something. Of course, we get a multiple wave set, then Griff will have an opportunity to go. Here we go. Kelly's seen something he likes. He's committed. Look at this. Nice and thick, and he goes, and he's deep behind a curtain, and he's really deep, and he won't be exiting from that, Pete.
And that was a bit of a bummer because you could tell that he didn't have the paddle speed to get into it from where he was. It would have been nice if he'd been out maybe another 5 yards. Would have been able to kind of get down the face to pump it up into that barrel. But, well, priority has shifted. So momentum now with Griffin Colapinto. You can see just a late drop into it. Didn't have quite the drive. And that was a very long section. You know, it may have been, you know, enough to get the score. If he had been able to get out of it.
Interesting, we've been talking about positioning. It really has been the key to making through heats. Been watching some of the kind of coaches' notes and debriefs. It's been all about where they were sitting, and with the benefit of a little bit of hindsight, we saw Kelly kind of sprint paddle pretty much to the right of shot towards the north before that set came. And if he was a little bit wider, well, it's all ifs and buts. It's inconsequential. So that's not how it played out. Meanwhile, he's having a look here from under the priority of Griffin Colapinto. That one will be a straight one again on the sandbar.
Yeah, not quite big enough either, I don't think, and that was a bit of a sell by Kelly, trying to get the youngster Griffin Colapinto to bite. Nope, not going to happen.
Kelly now taking Griff on a paddle. Griff will keep pretty close to Kelly's wake and keep a very good eye on him. Final 50 seconds now. Griffin Colapinto looking to defend the lead, and a lot of that he built up in the non-priority part of this. Got that 6-5, a crucial number early on. And as the opportunities have gone fewer and further between, as we've gone into just these two out in the water, as we wrap up this round, those numbers, even kind of modest mid-range numbers, well, they're really important to have already dialed in. It's part of the reason why we use that 40-minute format. Chris used it well. 20 seconds to go. It's not looking great for Kelly at this stage.
No, it doesn't, especially with the priority next to Griffin. He just has to cover himself for this next 15 seconds, which looks like Kelly's going to make a move on a smaller wave. Nope, not even going to happen. But you look at Griffin's scores, they all happened in the first half of the heat, the non-priority portion of the heat. So it gave him the rhythm in that portion of the heat. Not much going in that back half. Kelly got his one wave, but that wasn't enough. He needed two. So congratulations to Griffin.
Colapinto brings it in. He's won this heat, and he will be enjoying these applause as he brings it in. Kelly Slater unfortunately bowing out at this stage. The yellow jersey will go to Kanoa Igarashi. We're going to get a quick commercial break. When we come back, women's quarterfinals coming live from beautiful Super Tubos. We'll be right back.